Just doing that.
No, tonight was, she had another board meeting.
Okay, well, I am showing that it is that time. Tell me when you are ready. You're ready? Okay. I will call the June 7th regular meeting of the Wenatchee School Board to order and ask that you stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you. First item on our agenda tonight is our consent agenda. And in the consent agenda, we have minutes from our board meeting on May 17th and May 25th, vouchers and payroll, personnel report, surplus report, camps and clinics, contracts, and policy updates, second read. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda is citizen comment, and it is my understanding that we have one individual signed up to speak, Wendy Priest. So Wendy, if you'll go ahead and walk over to the podium. Our public comment are limited to 3 minutes each, and if you would state your name and tell us where you live, that would be great. And Kim has an iPad up there with the timer. Is it okay if I take this off?
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Wendy Priest, and I live in Wenatchee. The board members and Superintendent Gordon, I thank you for this opportunity to share tonight. My name is Wendy Priest. I have 3 children in the Wenatchee School District, 1 at the high school and 2 attending Washington Elementary. I recently listened to the presentation from the Strategic Planning Committee delivered to the board on May 11th, 2021. I am very concerned that critical race theory is being introduced into our school district. This is the belief that we have a systemic problem of racism in our society, and that your race is the most important thing about you. CRT believes that the color of your skin or any other self-identifying factor is more important than your behavior, your values, or your environment. It postulates that the system is rigged against a minority group succeeding, and that oppression from a privileged group is the problem. According to this committee, students feel that it is a lie that they are cared about, that they are treated fairly, that they feel safe, that they matter, and that everyone has the same opportunities. It was implied that our school district has a systemic problem and was stated that we need to tear down the system. My questions to you are as follows. How many students were polled to come to such conclusions? What was the process used for gathering student input? Is there data available that supports this is a pervasive problem? For public process, how were stakeholders made part of the process? Parents, teachers, and community members. I would appreciate follow-up to these questions. I appreciate the hard work of the students and the community members to improve our education system for all students. The personal story shared by one member was very moving, and I appreciated hearing her perspective. The graph shared showing disparities in results was eye-opening. We should be looking at what changes can be made to ensure that all kids are treated equally and are afforded a great education. However, I find the conclusion that we need to adopt the premise and rationale found in CTR to be misguided. I'm not alone, but with cancel culture silencing many voices, people are afraid to come forward. CTR has been banned in education systems in 20 states. It's controversial for many reasons. Words matter and sometimes can imply one thing, but taken in a certain framework can mean something else. The our promise in the presentation uses 3 words that are used in many CRT writings and beliefs: diversity, equity, and inclusion. There is a reason equity and not equality is used. Though CRT and the community describe that equality isn't enough to combat hundreds of years of oppression, poverty, and disproportionality. Equity requires giving some identity groups privileges in order to address perceived imbalances. It looks at differences to make judgments and is itself racist and biased. I'm going to skip the next paragraph and just close with, I welcome the opportunity to learn more by falsely jumping to conclusions that this is quietly bringing CRT into our district. I have a biracial family and I've been following CRT closely, and I can't support its roots, its tenets, or belief that we have systemic racism here. I firmly believe every student should be supported and treated fairly and equally. But when we hear statements using words like privilege, microaggression, and 100-year oppression, it certainly sounds like critical race theory that is sweeping our country and making its way into our school system. Our community and school districts should not be supporting critical race theory. Thank you for your time. And in the letter that I'll leave each of you with a copy, there's a website which I've gathered some great information.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You can also email us your comments if you'd like. Okay, so it's my understanding that there's no one else here for public comment today. Is that correct? Okay. Thank you. Next item on our agenda appears to be the superintendent contract, extension of the superintendent contract. So as background for those who are listening, this is the time period. The board has a time period which expires on June 15th to make a decision about extending the superintendent's contract. We have taken a series of 3 meetings to review the superintendent's performance, to set goals, and to deliberate amongst ourselves. And therefore, we have drafted this contract amendment, which is on the agenda for action this evening. Is there a motion regarding the superintendent's extension of contract?
I move for the approval of the superintendent's appointment contract.
Great, is there a second?
I second that. And just to clarify, this is a new contract, not an amendment. It is comprehensive and it includes the same wording and terms as the previous amendment where they're overlapping.
Great. Is there any discussion? So maybe for clarity's sake, we should say that this contract extends the term for 2 years. The superintendent is permitted to have no more than a 3-year rolling contract. Last year, we did not choose to extend the rolling contract. So this year we had basically 2 years banked that we could extend this contract. So we have this does include that 2-year, giving a 3-year rolling contract for the current superintendent. There was also discussion of salary, and I don't know the exact wording, but this ties the superintendent's cost of living raise, I think is what I'll call it,
That's what,
to the same level as staff. So the superintendent receives no more nor no less of an increase when compared to administrative staff. Correct?
Also, the contract is available online for anybody to see that for full transparency.
Good point. It was included in our packet this evening, so anybody is able to access. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So moving forward, board communication. Are there any board members that have communications they wish to share with the rest of the board?
I just want to chime in that WSD is having their fall conference, so you guys all probably saw that in the weekly update. There's some new pre-conference activities, so I hope everybody can make the most of their time and sign up for a pre-conference as well. If they have the time. They're usually quite good, so thank you.
Anyone else? Moving forward, superintendent report.
Again, thank you, board. I sincerely look forward to working with you, our community, and moving our district forward. Just a few shout outs. As everyone knows, we had the high school graduation. Wow, what an event. That was the first time I've ever seen one in person. If you haven't had that opportunity and that honor, wow, what a setting within the Apple Bowl itself. But I really want to shout out a number of people, Eric Anderson and his whole administrative team for the amount of time and effort goes into putting on a high school graduation is immense. And that's not even doing it justice. Brandon Harley, our senior class advisor, who really spearheads the work as a teacher, but as that class advisor. James Wallace, for all the work he does behind the scenes, the technical work he does with the audio, and as well as the pyrotechnics work behind the scenes, doing that stuff. Brian Brocky and the custodians and the buildings and grounds team. I don't know if everybody noticed. I know Martin had made a mention of it, but just the alignment of chairs, the care that everybody went into to make sure that that was a perfect environment. Those chairs were perfectly aligned, straight from diagonal. Any way you looked at those chairs, it was just time and care that our staff put forward to make sure that our students were put in the best place possible to have this moment. And it was a moment. It was an absolute moment. Again, I shouted out to Eric. You talked about defining the word vulnerability. Get up in front of your closest 2,000 friends and speak a language you're not fluent in. And that's what Mr. Anderson did. He did his welcoming in Spanish. Again, it wouldn't be vulnerable if you were fluent. And I'm not criticizing because he is nothing close to fluent. I was so proud of him by showing that vulnerability, but by also making sure that a community knew that the high school principal was trying to make sure that people were connected. It literally just a great piece. Tomorrow night, we get to see our West Side high school students graduate 7 o'clock. Behind there, they're going to be doing it outside. I believe for the first time, they're going to be outside right behind their school. So that should be, from everything anybody's ever told me, a West Side graduation is one of the most emotional graduations that we have. So I'm excited to be there tomorrow night. And this week is our last week of school, Friday, early release. I just thank everybody, our parents, our guardians, our staff members, our community. I know it's been hard. I know it hasn't been easy, and I know it hasn't been perfect, but I just sincerely appreciate everybody's can-do attitude and making it to this point. And then a week after we're out, summer school for close to over 800 students, elementary, and then we have about 600 elementary, and roughly another 150 of our secondary friends are going to be doing some type of summer programming, bridge programming But again, that's a lot of work and time, and for all those staff members who signed up to teach summer school, thank you for the leaders who put that on and everybody else. So we're right back at it. About 2 weeks from now, we're back to summer school. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So the school board will now recess into executive session for a period of 60 minutes to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or to review the performance of a staff member, and to discuss district matters related to district enforcement actions or litigation or potential litigation to which the district, the board, or a member acting in official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the district. Pursuant to District Policy 1410 and RCW 42.30.110, this discussion will be closed to the public. The school board is not expected to take final action following the executive session. So thank you all for coming tonight, and we will now enter into executive session.